Hey Hellions, and welcome to another video with me, Lyn McGlaughlin, and today we're going to be reviewing and talking about the 2121 remake of Wrong Turn. I will be completely honest, I was ready to turn this off within 20 minutes of the movie, but we'll get back to that. So let's talk about the plot. So a group of adolescents decide to go on a hiking trip through Virginia. And despite being warned to stay on the trail and not to go deep into the woods or near the mountains, of course, it wouldn't be a horror movie if they did listen, would it? So, of course, they don't listen and they go off the trail and enter deep into the woods and at the mountains. That's when things start to go sinisterly wrong. And they are met with deadly traps, and also there is people watching them beyond in the shadows, and it just goes all terribly wrong for them, as it normally does in a horror movie. So this is what I had the problem with in the first half of the movie. You know, it is your typical horror movie at the beginning. You think you know what's going to happen, and it's been done so many times, and I felt like this was an out and out remake. They were just remaking the whole film from the original, and I was just like, ugh, again, could we not get something a bit different? You know, something more fresher? And it just seemed repetitive, and also problem I had with, now, no offense to the actors, it just felt like they didn't feel like friends to me. They just felt like they got a bunch of actors, stuck them in this movie and go, okay, pretend to be friends. You know, that's what it felt like. And the dialogue wasn't that great either. You know, it didn't feel like they meant what they were saying. The acting just felt very robotic. And it didn't convince it for me. So, you know, I just didn't feel anything for these characters at the start of the movie. And I just felt like it was just a generic, typical horror movie. And then it completely changed my mind. So we'll get to that. So within these woods, they come across a community which they call themselves the Foundation. Now, I'm not going to talk too much into the Foundation because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So they meet this foundation, and it turns out that these have lived off the land for many, many centuries, and they hate strangers. They feel threatened that these strangers are coming into their land, and they feel like they're there to take over what they've built. And this is when shit hits the fan, basically. And it is really, really interesting because it's like they total done a 180. We had this normal typical horror movie, and then all of a sudden it just felt like a completely different film. It did. It felt like they took two movies and just pushed them together. And that's when things started to get really interesting for me. I started to actually really enjoy the story, and I really started to enjoy the Foundation, you know, these characters. And like I said, I don't really want to go in too deep with the characters because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it did feel a lot better, and, you know, character development with the final girl. You know, it felt more progress in the second act, near to the third act, and the suspense. Oh my goodness, the suspense was so good. It wasn't your typical jump scare with loud music. It was eerie. The music in this film, wow, it was very, very eerie. It set the atmosphere, it set the scene, and it was phenomenal. And you could feel yourself getting really, really tense while watching this. The suspense was great. It really did a 180 through the second to third act. It was really, really suspenseful. I did enjoy that. And there was also like a backstory to what this film as well. The main girl's dad is on this hunt to look for her. Uh, he realised that she wasn't keeping in contact. She hadn't phoned him for a little while. So he goes looking for her, and he finds himself in the exact same position as this group found themselves. So yeah, it did get a lot better, and I'm glad that I didn't turn it off when I did, because it did turn into a great film, and it was a complete remake. When I was talking about before, when I said that it just felt like they were just remaking the whole film, it turned out they weren't. And I think the writer did that on purpose. It was written by Alan B. McLeod, who also wrote the original Wrong Turn. So yeah, it was really, so he just completely scrapped the original and just changed it and made it fresher and made it more interesting. And sorry guys, if you were going into this movie expecting mutant cannibal hillbillies, I'm afraid don't get them. They completely change it. It's completely fresh. It's a great outtake on this set of Community, what they're like as a community and what threat that these people bring to them. I did fairly enjoy this film. I've probably said that a million times. But yeah, it did get a lot better. It was a lot more interesting. Would I watch this again? Probably not. Just because of the first 20 minutes, it just did nothing for me. But yeah, if they kept the same kind of atmosphere and suspense as the second act and the third act, then I think it would have been overall a great film. But because of that robotic first act, it just did not do anything for me, and I don't think I could sit through watching that part again. But as I said, it was a really, really good film. I don't know much about the cast. I've never seen them in any other movies before. I don't think I have. But the only person that really stood out to me was Matthew Modine. I hope I'm saying his name right. Who was in Full Metal Jacket and Stranger Things. So he was the only actor I really knew from this. And he played the father who was on the hunt for his daughter. So I don't really know much about the rest of the cast, but within that second and third act, the acting did improve a bit, especially from the final girl. Okay, I keep calling her the final girl. Her name is Charlotte Venga. She played Jen in the movie. So her acting did top up, did go high, went high up in the second and third act, and she did become a solid character, and I did feel connected to her in halfway through the movie. I didn't really connect to her in the first half, but I felt, as the story progressed, I rooted for her. I did root for her and her father. I did root for both of them. It was a very enjoyable remake. As like I said, you know, they completely scrapped the mutant cannibal story arc, and I'm glad that they did, because it has been done to death. It has been done so many times, and I'm glad we saw a different antagonist, you know, a different story, a different antagonist story, and I really enjoyed that aspect. So yeah, I will probably give this movie probably a 6 out of 10, just for its different direction, but I definitely will most likely not watch this again. Well, Hellions, that was my review and take on the 2121 Wrong Turn movie. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy the remake? Do you feel the same way that I felt, or did you love it? Did you hate it? Please tell me what you think and leave your answers in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this, guys, as much as I do. You know, I absolutely love talking about horror movies.
Thanks for watching that video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to stab that like button, slash that subscribe button, and you'll be constantly in the know. If you want to see any more of our amazing content, go to www.hellhoundmagazine.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description below, as well as the icons along here. That's really it, guys. We always appreciate your love and support. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you soon.